All right, welcome to our lessons learned. I call it Tuesday night events. Tonight's topic is going to be conquering the imposter syndrome. Want to have a great conversation about this topic. This is something that really hit home for me, and it's something that I feel that applies to a lot of people, this imposter syndrome. And what does that mean? How do we get rid of it, and so that we can really be successful in our life or business, wherever we are in our journey. And so what I'd like to do is real briefly, under a minute, your name, of course, we see your name, where you're from, a little bit about where are you in your journey? Are you in a corporate career, looking to leave? Are you in a business that you're not making money right now, or it's not working and you need more help? Like, share with me a little bit where you are in your journey so that I can learn, so that Tamika can learn and everybody else can learn from each other. This is Tamika's first time. And also Tamika, for you as well, we always put our info in the chat and your email, how can we connect with you? And I always schedule calls with newcomers so that we can get to know each other a little bit better. And we have Karen joining us. Hi, Karen, welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
Good. All right, so why don't we start with Anna? Where you're tuning in from, a little bit about you, where you are, and a little bit about, and then we'll go, just introduce yourself. Sorry, I'm going on. I'm so excited. Go ahead,
okay.
Anna.
I'm Anna, and I'm actually in Niagara Falls, Canada. So I'm on the other side of the border. So I run a online business manager company. I'm been running it for a year now, but I'm actually in the process of restructuring it and fine-tuning some of my offerings. I have a real extensive financial background, so I'm trying to do a lot more with the business plan execution and getting those strategies set up, and then also dealing with the cash flow and understanding what plans you need to make for financial decisions to get you ready for the end of the year and tax time. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, Michelle, tell us a little about you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm in Rhode Island. I do children's books. I have a business I started that would take the books and be able to get them into the hands of kids in the classroom. So for educational purposes, I'm a nurse during the day, so I'm still, working my full-time situation. But the hope is long-term to, transition out of that and to just have the business going and to be working on my own.
Awesome. All right, Marissa, tell us about your brilliance.
Hey everyone, my name is Marissa. I am in Austin, Texas, and I'm a photographer who currently works full-time doing social media management, and I'm transitioning into taking my skill of photography and having it blossom into a business, like with a ton of revenue streams.
With a ton of revenue stream. I love it. Yes. And I know you have multiple revenue streams.
Yes.
All right. We have two Tamikas, and I love the blue. I love that color. Okay. Well, awesome, Marissa. All right, Sherry, tell us a little about you.
I am Sherry, and I live in North Carolina. I am a digital marketing representative, and we do all kinds of digital marketing, from websites to social media to email engagement, graphic design, all kinds of things. So.
And you are a new entrepreneur. You recently exited the corporate world.
Yes.
In March, right? In March?
In March.
So new entrepreneur, new business. So there's a lot of changes going on, right?
Yes.
Okay. The life of an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. For those of you that have been an entrepreneur, Anna, you can attest to that. And I could definitely attest to that. There's days It's just up and down. Okay. And I don't even like roller coasters, but the life of an entrepreneur, I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, Karen, tell us a little about you.
Hello, ladies. My name is Karen. I am currently still in corporate. I'm an engineer. I'm still debating whether or not I'll ever completely leave corporate. But on the side, I'm also working on a health and wellness business with the Juice Plus company, concentrating on Tower Gardens, but also the capsules. And I'll post links here in a second, as well as I do digital art, and I just sold slash he says he's going to pay me. It was for my best friend, but I just completed my first book cover for his book.
Oh, you did? So you just did a
Yes.
book cover for someone.
Yep, it'll be
Awesome.
published hopefully next week.
So make sure that you show that as one of your portfolio items, that as an illustrator. That's awesome. Good, good, good. And maybe Sherry's company can use someone like you down the road when she builds a team. You never know, because she says she has graphic designers. You just never know. Good networking opportunity. Okay, Tamika, tell us a little about you, and if you want to show yourself on video, would like to see you.
Yeah, sure. I was just wrapping up, but hi everyone, nice to meet you. So I'm in North Carolina. I am in corporate. I do supply chain management. And then also I have a passion project as well for mentoring of young girls, which I truly enjoy, and just looking to figure out next steps, whether it's continue within corporate or a different corporate level, as well as balancing the passion project.
Awesome. And what brought you here tonight?
Just looking for different levels of engagement.
Okay, different levels of engagement. Okay, great. Well, I'm happy to have you here. I put my link in the chat on my calendar link. So Tamika would love to chat with you and learn more about you and how can, possibly support you or share resources with you. It is not a sales pitch. It is a connection call to really get to know you. All right. It's 30 minutes. And I always love to learn everybody who comes to this community. And so speaking of community, my name is Tina Kadish. I'm a business coach, author, and speaker. And I started this community about 1.5 years ago. I think it's going to be probably almost 2 years now. And I went on Meetup and I wanted to create a community of like-minded individuals. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm looking for a community of women that are in that space, that they are in corporate careers, they want to leave, they want to start a business, or they're business owners and they have challenges. They have specific things they need to do to grow their business. I'm all about starting a successful business. So when Anna was talking about execution of plan, I help you to create that plan, that foundation, so that you can get to that success, to get to those sales, those customers, those clients that we all desire. Because let's be real, as an entrepreneur, if you're not making sales, you're not making money, you might as well go get a job. Okay. And that's not a good place to be. All right. And so, but having that foundation, that clarity is so important. So I wanted to create this community because for me, my background has been in training and development, Tamika, and it's been in recruiting. And I was laid off from the corporate world many, many years ago. And then I started my business part-time because I realized that over 85% of women were stuck, unhappy with their careers. They're unfulfilled, have no direction. And so I wanted to really share that message. How can you find your passion? So I started my business, Life is Ideal, with the tool of how to help you find your passion. That's how I started my business. And now today I've evolved to as a business coach. So really, once you get that clarity that I help you with, we can start a business together. And so I'm very passionate about helping you to find your freedom. My book is all about freedom, and I'll put my link in the chat, Freedom, the 7 Steps to Thrive in Life and Business. It is so critical that we focus on not only the business aspect, but doing the inner work, to get to that. Because yeah, we want to start a business, okay, but there's things that stop us, okay, that impact us. And so tonight's topic, Imposter Syndrome, and I want to have a conversation here. And before we go into that topic, just to let you know, we usually end here by 7:45, 8 o'clock, depending on the conversations that we have. I always encourage dialogue because this topic imposter syndrome. And I want to ask all of you, like, when you hear those words, what does that mean? And I'll share my experience with imposter syndrome. But what is that? How does that speak to you? What does that mean when you hear that word? And does it apply to you? Have you experienced yourself that you've been there, felt it?
I have, for sure.
So tell us about it. What are some of the things that come up for you?
That I am not talented enough in photography, that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. And it comes up at nearly every photo shoot where I have like moments of panic because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, if the images don't turn out well, then it's basically my fault. And so I get very like,
You're questioning yourself. You're doubting
Yeah.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Valid. Very valid. Okay. Anybody else?
For me, it's all about confidence, and it's those inner demons, like Marissa talks about, of the self-doubt and everything else. I think a lot of my issues that come from imposter syndrome or not believing in myself is due to my corporate days and everybody trying to reach up to the top of that corporate ladder or whatever. And it's a man world. And a lot of times I was in a company where it was the boys club, and of course I'm not a boy. So, you know, it was like, okay, you can do this, but we don't want you to do this, this, and this, because then we don't look as good, and it shows that you're actually doing work. And so being pushed down and trying to be told this is where you need to be, even though I should be up here, has created that imposter syndrome. It's created that self-doubt without it being founded. And a lot of it has to do with the confidence and the crushing of the confidence. And that's where I sit sometimes. And it's frustrating because, you know what, there is no reason why I feel this way, because when I have a conversation with somebody, and Tina knows, it's a total different game. But sometimes those stupid demons in your head just get in there and
They
drive
do.
you nuts.
They really do. And I'll share a little bit, you know, with me, how really same thing, doubting myself. You know, when I was in my corporate career, I, you know, wanted to be in business. I craved freedom. I was so tired because what I did was, you know, I didn't continue my story. When I got laid off, yes, I took some time off, started my business, working on it part-time. But because of those demons, fear, my business, I wasn't able to sustain it at the time because I was only working on with one tool at the time. I went back to a job. Now, and Michelle and we were just talking about this. We got to do what we got to do sometimes. Okay. Yeah, we want to have a business, but if you're not making money right now in your business, you need to go get a job, because the job can fund your business until you get it going, until you start working it, really consistently working it. We're not saying treat it like a hobby. Treat your business like a business. Not just though, well, you know, do when I feel like doing it, when I have time. No, treat it like a business and you will get the results. So when you show up consistently and you really focus on your business, even though you're doing it part-time, but showing up consistently. I was working my business part-time, evenings and weekends. That's when I was doing it while I was working, because I went to a job as a recruiter and I was doing that. I did that for 11 years while working my business. And I finally in 2018 said, I'm done. I've had it. I took a leap, but I prepared a plan. I had an exit strategy. I created a cushion of money so that I could walk away with money in the account to have as a cushion. I never recommend to anybody to just quit their jobs and start a business tomorrow, unless number one, if you get laid off, you got to figure out what to do. Number two, if it's for mental health reasons and it's affecting your health, health is number one. And you'll find a way to make it work. Okay. So never jeopardize your health for a job. Okay. It's not worth it. Okay. It really isn't, because you'll pay the price if you do. All right. So anybody else, imposter syndrome, how's it affected you? Because that's what it is. It's doubting your abilities. It's you're feeling like a fraud. Okay. And you find it, and this is something that in my research and something for me, finding it difficult to accept accomplishments. And we're going to go through 4 strategies, okay, on how you can overcome the imposter syndrome. We're going to do that after. What I want to hear more from everybody about this, like how does it speak to you? What are some things you have felt? Sherry, Tamika, Michelle.
For me, the issue has been because it's something that I haven't done before. I'm so used to being someone who grew up being told that, you know, you go to school and your success and how well you do and your survival depends on the education and then being in this job. And then that's the mindset. So to step out of that, and especially when you're not surrounded by people who are doing that, you question yourself a lot because you just feel like, I tell people a lot of times, I feel like I know I'm not alone because I have support. People are like more than supportive, but at the core of it, you feel like you're just left there hanging out, you know, on this diving board. And it's like, all right. And then you get people who are like cheering for you. So now you got this group of people who are like considered, you know, your following or your tribe or your, you know, your target audience. And so now you got this responsibility to people.
Right. You want to show them that you know, that you're not a fraud, that you're not faking it till you make it. You've heard that lingo. I'll fake it till I make it. Okay. For me, that's not authentic to fake it. To me, that's really the word fake is imposter. You're a fraud. Okay. That you're really showing that as if you're doing it, but you really don't. Okay. And it's going to come through. It really is going to come through when you do act fake. So being authentic is so important. Okay. And this is something that for me, how imposter syndrome is affected is the comparison game. That I will compare myself to others. And so then I doubt myself that I'm not good enough compared to someone else. Because on the outside, it all looks like everybody's doing great. Okay. So it's not cuddly. Yeah, you're right. Your artwork can be horror stories, Karen, right? So it's not cuddly. All right. And, you know, so for me is that comparison was really affecting me because I would always question myself. Am I doing the right thing? Oh, why am I not where they are? Why are they getting this? Why, you know, and you know, you see it on social media, everything looks great on social media, but we don't really know what's going on in their real world, right? Michelle's shaking, right? Because it appears that everything's great, but it's not. Okay. And if it is for them, hey, that's awesome too. It's okay. Focus on you. What are you doing every day? And when I go through the 4 strategies, I'll talk more about it. But how about you, Karen, Tamika? Anything want to share about this topic for you? I mean, how does it affect you? Apply to you?
Yeah, for me, Karen. It's pretty much the same as everybody else is, just feeling like I'm a fraud, like I don't know the things that I'm putting out there that I know, you know, feeling like I haven't learned it the way I'm putting forward that I, you know, speak on a subject.
Speaking on a subject. And that's, you know, like Karen does digital art. And one of the things that I know you've shared this before in other meetings here is that will people like your art?
Yes.
Will people want to buy her art? You know, Marissa, photography, will people want her photos?
Yeah, especially since, you know, my artwork, I consider myself a hobbyist. I've had no formal training in this. It's just something I've been doing over years and I enjoy it. And, you know, I very much feel like a fraud when I'm next to other artists who have been, you know, trained and so forth.
Well, I'll give you an example. I was recently on a Zoom call with, it's a speakers group. And one of my goals is to be a professional speaker. And I want to be out there speaking more and get paid to speak. And so I was in this group. And then we had to go into they call them breakthrough sessions, not breakout sessions. And we were in these breakthrough sessions, and all these people were like already like way up there in the speaking world. And here I was like I called myself little peon, okay, little Tina. And I'm just like saying, oh my God, this was like so overwhelming, intimidating. Like really, I was like really like uncomfortable. Okay. But I'm not at that level as them. I have not put in the hours. I have not done what maybe they've done already. You know, yes, I wrote a couple of books. Okay, I'm an author now. Whoa, it's good. All right, I'm not a best-selling author yet. I'm not a New York Times bestseller. Okay. And then I see others that are New York Times bestseller, best-selling author. And like, how do they get there? I don't know. But you know what? I focus on me. Okay. I have to like come back, step back and really focus on what am I going to do today? And it's those hours that you put in. You've heard this, the 10,000 hours. Have you put in, there's a book, right? The Outlier. I think there's a book called The Outlier. And it talks about how much time are we putting in to improve our craft. You know, I mean, if we're just starting out, don't expect to already be there. It's a journey. It's a process, okay? And trusting yourself and trusting the process is so important. Really, every day. You know, Sherry, I mean, let me ask you a question. You just started, you know, went into your business, you left corporate. And was this a whole different industry for you, digital marketing? Like, how did you get into this a little bit briefly? And what have been your thoughts about it?
I did marketing in my previous job, but not
Okay.
to the level that I'm doing now.
Okay, makes sense.
So
Okay, so
I've
you're
got
learning a lot. So there's a lot of learning going on.
a lot of learning going on.
Good, good. But the key is that you are doing it.
Yes.
Okay, and thinking about why, like, what is the purpose of why you're doing it? You know, what is your end goal here? What is your why? What will wake you up every day excited to do this? Like today I was talking to someone and she's in a corporate in the human resources. And I've known many HR people. And I was having a conversation with her and I said, so let me ask you, what do you love about your job? Because she's a corporate career in HR, sales. And she said, oh, I don't love my job. I mean, I'm there, I do it. And I was like, wow, that's pretty, I wanted to say to her, it's really sad. But I said to her, you know, life is so short and finding your purpose is so important. So if you could find something in your job that, you know, that you love to do, okay. You know, one of my clients, she said, you know, when I was working in my corporate career, I found things in my job that I love to do. And I focused on those things, what I was good at, what I liked about my job to get me through every day. Okay. So those are things to, you know, to really think about that. But I felt kind of bad for her that, and she's been doing this for 13 years. And there was no excitement. I got to tell you, there was no excitement in her voice and her body language. I was like, oh my God, you know, and so that's how she is. And she says, well, you know, this is something to think about. I never really thought about it. I've just been doing it. I said, that's exactly what a lot of us do. We're just doing it and we just don't realize. And so imposter syndrome, you know, applies in your business. If you're in a business, are we doing what we want to do? You know, like Anna, you've been questioning, planning, figuring out what I want to do, because we start a business sometimes and we may realize this is not what I want to do. So I might have to change something, do something, maybe go, you know, there's many people that have gone in totally different directions because they realize I'm not going to fake this anymore. I'm not going to pretend that I like what I'm doing. Okay. So Tamika, any thoughts how the imposter syndrome has affected you at all right now?
I would just echo the same. In my current role in corporate, I'm the only Black person on the team, the only Black manager. So I deal with it quite a bit. So echo the same of what others mentioned, the sense of not belonging, having to prove yourself. And
Okay. Okay. And your goal is to mentor young girls. And that's what you found that you're passionate about, right, Tamika? Okay.
moving to the full term of doing that mentoring project.
Awesome. That's great. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about 4 key strategies, okay, on how can we overcome the imposter syndrome. The first one is to talk about your successes. We've all been successful in many areas of our life. All right. We've done things that we've achieved at. We don't want to, a lot of us feel like we're bragging. Okay. So I'm not saying to go online or talk to people and say, you know who I am? I'm, this, and I've done this. We're not talking about that, but really be proud of your successes. Talk about them. Okay. To people, things that you've done. Okay. Because, it's share thing. Like for me, being in recruiting, being in training, I will talk about some of the things that I was good at. And being a public speaker, I did some public speaking on my jobs. And I realized in my job that I wanted to do that, more of it. And so I would share with people and say, some of the things that I love doing is speaking to groups of people. I see myself talking on stage like Tony Robbins with thousands and thousands of people, and I would love it. And so I talk about how it makes me feel when I talk to people from a stage. I like in person. I don't know about you, but I'm more of an in-person type of person. And although I like Zoom, it's a great way to connect. I mean, if this was in person, we'd never be seeing Sherry or anybody. I'm in Connecticut. All of you are not, with the exception of Karen, all of you are out of state. So virtual lends itself really successfully, okay? Because look at that, we would never have Anna from Canada here, all right? So there is something to be said about virtual events. So talking about successes is so important. So how many of you can actually think of a success you've had that you can articulate? So that helps you to really think about, when you're feeling down, you have that doubt, think back of some successes you've had. Really go back to thinking, okay, I did something here at my job, and I did something here in my, in my personal life that was a success. Or I remember a time that somebody said some great things about something that I've done, and they complimented me on it, and they said things about it. So that's a success. Can anybody relate to that? Can think of something that comes to mind that they've been successful at? Because that's one strategy that I would definitely encourage you. Talk about your successes to people without that bragging, braggadocious, cocky, arrogant kind of personality. Anybody want to share a success you've had? Anybody?
I just made my first book cover.
Exactly, you did. You did your first book cover for a client, right?
Yes.
Good. Was it a paying client?
He says he's going to pay me. I told him I gratefully accept tips, and I wasn't going to charge him, but he's like, no, you're getting paid. So
good point. You want to own your value. You want to, you're doing a job for them. You're doing a book. You did a book cover in this case. It's worth an investment from him. Okay. Know your worth. Awesome. Karen, I'm so happy for you. Keep it up. Now, how did you find this person?
Oh, he's my best friend. We've been best friends. I've never met him, but we've been best friends for 20 years.
You've never met him, really?
Wow. No, yep, it's been all online. He actually, I have my 2 best friends in the world. He lives in Tennessee. The other one lives in England. I've met the one in England. I haven't met the one in Tennessee.
Oh, that is too funny. You met the one in England, but not the one in Tennessee. That is hilarious. Yep. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Anybody else share a success they've had, and then we'll move on to 2, 3, and 4 tonight.
To write a book and not have ever thought that I would do that was a huge success. Just doing it,
Yes, exactly. Be proud of it. Really, I got to tell you, when I got my first book, in my hands and the name across was there. It was just like, wow, that was me.
Mhm. Yeah, I made my son take pictures with me in the book.
Yes, oh, absolutely. And you need to do more of that. Okay. You need to do more
Yeah.
of that. Get it out there, share it. All right. Awesome. Okay. The second one is notice your achievements. Now, there's something about, okay, so we talked about successes, but what I mean by here is notice them, that a lot of times we always feel like we could have done something better. Okay. This is where the doubt, well, like when someone says that you did a good job. Well, I could have done it this way, or for me, somebody gives me a compliment about something, I'll always come back with say, well, it's no big deal. Yeah, it was good. It was okay, but it could have been better, or, it was just no big deal. Own it, celebrate it, notice that achievement. That is an achievement. So you go, anybody else, any other achievements?
I did my first photo shoot in Austin.
Good. You did your first photo shoot in Austin?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Very good. That's good. Another thing in achievements is, how do you combat this? It's when I said early, comparing yourself to others, but look at yourself and say, I've done this too, or I've done a good job with this as well. So like, notice that. Yeah, that is really an awesome accomplishment, achievement, whatever you want to call it, to do your first photo shoot. And you were probably really nervous, right?
Yes.
Yes, but you did it. You got through it. You did it anyway, because you could have said, oh, I don't know, it's my first time. I don't know if I should do this. Oh my God, who am I? They're not going to like it. Some of us may be perfectionists, and you may not do it because everything's got to be perfect, God forbid. And then you don't do it. It's better to do it with imperfections than not do it at all. Okay, so notice your achievement. Okay, any other comments about achievements? Sherry, any thoughts on that? About noticing your achievements? Okay. The third strategy is sharing your knowledge. Okay. Let people know what you know. Okay. Your experiences. A lot of social media, Marissa, you can attest to this, and Sherry as well, working in this, is online. People want to see stories. They want to learn about you, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge. What do you know? What have you done? People can relate, because it's that relatability. So sharing your knowledge to people is so important. You don't know who you're going to connect with. Like now, Karen shared about her first book cover. Okay. Sherry has a digital marketing company. She might need some graphic people that are creative down the road. I'm not saying right now, but it's a connection. So had Karen not shared, Sherry might not know, and vice versa. And this is why sharing who you are here, what you do, what you love to do, it's not just your business, but there's also like, what do you love to do for fun? Some things about you that you like to do that maybe someone else can relate to it as well. Does that make sense? Okay. Does anybody feel uncomfortable sharing your knowledge to people? Or sharing, when I say sharing your knowledge, I'm also talking about sharing your dreams or sharing ideas. Does anybody feel uncomfortable with this? Without feeling like,
Yeah.
in what way? Like, why do you feel uncomfortable? Tell me about that.
It depends a bit on the idea. Like if it's something that's about knowledge and things I know about, not so much. If it's something that's opinion, and with the division that there is in the world today, some of those sorts of things,
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really want to put that out there, because holy cow.
Well, yeah, especially like when you share, if you're sharing something that can be controversial, can be personal, can create some drama. I call it drama, or I call it where there's going to be some heated conversations. You might hold off on it. But when I'm talking about sharing your knowledge, is things that you know, that you know, again, successes, achievements, your knowledge. And then the fourth one is talk about your wins. Okay, your big wins and your small wins. Something you do notice them, because we're just going through our days and we're not thinking about these things. We're not being intentional. We're not being, you know, we're just not aware of these. We're not being really conscious of them. And we're just going through a day. And you're just like going through the day and you say, oh, you know, I didn't accomplish anything today. But what if you celebrate even your little wins? Okay, I'm sure. Let me ask you, because I know, well, Karen had a great win that with her first. Anybody else have a win that they'd like to share? Marissa did her first photo shoot. Tamika, any wins this week that you've had, or today?
Honestly, none that I can think of right now.
Was there any thing you've done mentoring young girls? Was there anything that, you know, even a compliment from someone, even someone like the other day, I'll give you an example. We send out replays to people that either attend, you know, all of you are going to get a replay from tonight, or people that said they were going to come and didn't. So one woman who didn't attend last week, we sent her the replay, and she said everything you talked about in your session are things that reinforced what I'm doing. And I have things in place. And thank you for the reminder. And so it was like, it was good to get that, I'll call it validation. Like for me, I like hearing people say things, because maybe one of my things is looking for outside validation. And so for me, I might doubt myself. Will people want to hear, like every Tuesday night, I have a different topic. Will people want this topic? Maybe not, maybe yes. Okay, but if I stop the judging, because this is what I would do, I would just judge it and say, they're not going to like this topic. Why would they want to know this? You know what I mean? So I would start to that head trash, doubting, questioning all the time. And then I was really putting the energy of quantity over quality of people. Okay. And even if I had one person, is better one quality than 10 that were not quality. And what I mean by quality is that there could be some vibe there could be some energy, there could be some, maybe it wasn't a right fit in the community, whatever. Okay. When I say it wasn't a fit, but I would head trash, start to think. So that's where the imposter syndrome for me is really questioning that. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Can you do second guess? Yeah. Head trash is definitely a good term. Absolutely. Head trash. And it's something that I've had to work on myself. You know, we're not perfect. I'm not there, but it's every day working on it and acknowledging, hey, you know, I've had some successes. You know, I have had some wins here. And, you know, I may not be there yet, but I know I'm going to get there because I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep trying. I'm open-minded, and I'm going to do my best. Do the best that you can do. All right. Because there is no such thing as perfect. Although some people believe that, you know, got to be perfect. Like I said, perfectionism really stops us. It really does. I'm going to have a whole conversation about perfectionism, because it's got to be perfect. You're not going to do something like going on a Facebook Live. People won't go on video because they think everything's got to be so perfect. Yes, I know, right? We could do a whole session on perfectionism, but next week we're going to talk about the top 5 common pitfalls to starting a business. So next week it's top 5 common pitfalls to starting a business. So we're going to go into that next week. But I'm going to stop the recording. But before I do that, any questions, comments on this tonight? Anything you want to add to this topic? Any questions about the 4 strategies?
The strategies are really helpful. It's something that I feel like I'm constantly battling with. I started the business almost 2 years ago, like from the very beginning. And I can be honest, to date, I still, as I go along, it's still, you have those moments where you're like, am I doing the right thing? You know, am I living up to what I want to live up to, or what other people expectations, you know, can I really do this? You know, who do I think I am, kind of thing. And I have to check those thoughts like you talked about, but it's still, it's funny how it almost, you want it to go away, but then there's moments that seems like as you progress and things grow, it still comes back every now and then. It's
And
almost
it
like it's
will.
still always a relevant issue.
So here's the thing. Any suggestions for Michelle? Anybody have a suggestion?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
This happens to me too. And what I've learned is that my self-doubt is just trying to keep me safe. It's just the part of me that is afraid of change, and it's a part of me that's afraid of instability. It's the part of me that's afraid of the unknown. And so whenever those thoughts and feelings pop up, I sit with them and I almost like observe them and separate them from myself and reassure that self-doubt that, you know, what we're doing is the right thing, or what we're doing is safe, you know, like you're doing this in a safe way, and, you know, like have appreciation and gratitude for your self-doubt, because it just wants to keep you safe, and it just wants to keep you, you know, like out of harm's way.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And here's the thing too, Michelle, you really get back to, why are you doing this? Like, what is your purpose? What is it about it that keeps you going? Why this? Like, and really journal on it, write it out. I mean, what is keeping you to do? Like, why do you want to do the books? Why do you want to get it out there? Why do you want to help the parents that are homeschooling their children? What is it about that excites you? Okay. And I gotta tell you, it's a great service.
Yeah.
That you're offering. And it's what is the transformation that they can get from you, from what you're offering? And, you know, that's the thing. It's really tapping into that why. Like for me, well, like I said earlier, your client is your story. I didn't say this before, but your client is your story. Like, what is your story? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? For me, it was the corporate woman being stuck in a job, unfulfilled, unhappy, frustrated, being told what to do by a boss. I call it the handcuffs. I didn't want that. And so we need to be happier. But making money, loving what we do. And so when I got laid off, it was an eye opener for me to say, I don't want to be at the mercy of anybody. That just like that, in the blink of an eye, I got let go. I didn't want that. And that's what really started me thinking, okay, yeah, there's definitely a battle. Oh my God, comfort zone, outside the comfort zone. We stay comfortable in the job because it is comfortable. This is why I stayed in the job for so long while building my business, because I always made excuses. It was never the right time. And I also had a spouse who was self-employed that would say to me, now is not the right time. That's a whole nother conversation too, how we're judged by others, or we do things because others tell us it's not the right time. What will they think of us if we do this? I'm the only one in my family that is an entrepreneur. No one else. Everybody works for a job. And here's Tina, the only entrepreneur in the family. My mother's side, my father's side, no one else. So I'm the crazy Tina for being an entrepreneur. People all think I don't have a job because, yeah, I don't work for someone. I work for myself. Different challenges. And I know both because I've had the both. All right. Wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's not for everybody. That's the other thing. It's not for everyone. Okay, don't be an imposter in a business if you're not even liking what you're doing as a business. It's time to find something else. Okay, and that's where you gotta figure it out. Yeah, he's still bad at teaching. Really, Karen? Oh my God.
Yeah, Dad's he's got the engineer mindset of engineers are very bad at teaching for the most part, and yeah,
Okay,
he
okay.
never taught me how to run a business, and he never taught me how to take apart a car and put it back together.
Yeah.
Just how to
yeah.
hold the wrench.
Yeah, see, and like my dad and everybody else's logic is you get a job, you work there, you get good benefits, you get paid, and that's it. And then you retire. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, that you retire with the same company. You're leaving multiple times or getting laid off, whatever. And that doesn't happen. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the recording, and then because we will send it to